I cannot believe I get to say this, but that title is not a lie. Last year, I formed my LLC, started designing my first product, and in the last 30 days, we have sold nearly $40,000 in a month. Hello? Oh, that's basically a salary right there. Freaking insanely good one too. I quit my engineering job to do this, and finally I'm seeing that I might not go broke after all. In fact, do you see that spike in sales? I'll tell you how I managed to do that towards the end of the video, but don't worry, there are a lot of twists and turns to get there. The product, by the way, is this. It's called myTMJ pen, and a lot of you probably won't get it. Just remember, there's never such a thing as being too niche. But it's for people like me who deal with chronic jaw pain and tension to allow for simultaneous application of massaging pressure, real heat, and vibration specifically on head, neck, and jaw muscles. Look, this is my little assembly line right here. And this is episode 18 of the series where I literally take you through every step of making it from idea to the hundreds of prototypes, my first circuit boards, my first sales, everything. It's actually really cool, and I'm very happy that Past Me decided to do this. So if you're looking for a binge, go check it out. Anyways, last episode we left off with a good amount of pre-orders piled up, but no product. At this point, we were making like $8,000 a month, so a lot happened very quickly. All I was waiting for was the gosh darn circuit boards. And fun fact, they actually got delivered the day after I uploaded that last episode. And let me tell you, I was pooping my pants inside thinking about the fact that if these things don't work, I'd be delayed another 3 months and be out over $3,000. I literally remember procrastinating for 2 straight days. Procrastinating testing the boards, that is. But I finally got to it. And holy shit. Stop, dude. Let's fucking go, dude. I was happy. Really happy. On the surface, the circuits worked. But it would only be later when I was rewriting the code that I would discover something that would potentially turn the entire batch of boards into trash. So the excitement lasted, for a day at most. Oh, and by the way, the whole reason I had to rewrite the code was because there were a couple important problems with my TMJ pen. The first one being that my low battery shutoff, which was supposed to happen at 3.3 volts, would actually happen super early at like 3.6 volts. As in the battery would be pretty much like half charged when it would shut off. And this would happen when I would turn on the vibration motor. This actually ended up being a much bigger issue than I expected. It's that whole issue I was foreshadowing before. The second thing was a safety feature that probably will never get seen, but you gotta have it just in case. Basically, I measure the massage tip's temperature with something called a thermistor. And if this somehow doesn't work, the device might overheat and burn someone, which is really not good. I don't have to explain why. That's why I designed and put in a bunch of backup systems so that at least 2 separate things on the device would have to fail for it to overheat. For example, if the microcontroller fails, there is a shutoff that blows a resettable fuse that relies on the temperature sensor, the thermistor. They call this a crowbar mechanism. This also saves us in case the heating control circuitry breaks. On the other hand, if the temperature sensor breaks like an open circuit, the microcontroller senses that and shuts off. While if the thermistor breaks like a short circuit, it wouldn't actually cause overheating because the device would think it's way too hot. But the crowbar mechanism reads that as overheating and shuts the device off. But there is a potential failure mode that only has one level of safety, and that is what if the temperature sensor just doesn't contact the metal tip? Then it could just keep heating. Well, my safety system for that has been just checking for it in quality control. It's something that is pretty clear. But again, it's better to be safe than sorry. Like, what if someone twists the tip and like snaps it? So what I did was log the temperature over time of the tip. So all I had to do was wait. And if the tip didn't measure a high enough temperature past a certain time, we would know that something is off with the measurement and therefore shut off the device. Pretty simple, but effective. And actually, this timing thing revealed another issue, that I've been programming the device at an incorrect clock frequency. Basically, my timing was 8 times too slow. That was a couple of hours of fun debugging for sure. But back to the battery thing that was potentially going to ruin everything. Basically, I wanted to see how much the voltage really dropped when I turned on the motor, because the problem was clearly some kind of quick drop that made my device think it was out of battery and would lead to a shutoff. But holy Jesus, things were a lot worse than I imagined. With the motor on, the PWM pulses that were supplying voltage to the motor were dirty. I mean, massive voltage swings. I instantly got a pit in my stomach when I saw this on my oscilloscope. Like, why the hell was this happening? I had no idea. But then I also obviously checked to see if the last batch had the same issue. And it did, which is so weird. I guess at some point between version 3 and 6 of the board, I had changed the layout in a way that caused this. My theory right now is that it is the layout of the boost converter, which admittedly is messy with the grounding. But if it worked last time, I guess it can work now. So I took a deep breath and tried to think of like, what is the actual problem here? Is it just that battery thing where it shuts off too early? You know, maybe I could just work around that, because what I could do is just take a couple seconds average of the battery voltage. So that's what I ended up doing. I added that into code. It's funny, I actually used up 100% of the memory of my microcontroller. I had to squeeze the life out of that script. But yeah, anyways, for the next batch, I already redesigned the board to have 4 layers and be way less messy, which I think will fix all these problems. So stay tuned for next episode to see how these prototypes work out. But for now, we could push forward. All the parts were in place, and it was finally time to start popping off prints. Oh, and one small thing, I changed the filament color from this dark brown that we were using to this dark gray, bluish gray maybe. Took me a while to find one that didn't leak light, but also looked nice. And I think the gray and the light blue are a bazillion times better than the brown. And cheaper too, and actually always in stock. Here's a reel that got more than 1 million views about my assembly process. Here's how I turned this pile into $10,000. It still blows my mind I can do this. First things first, I 3D print 3 parts of the device: the casing, caps, and button covers. My plan is to be injection molding by batch number 4, but for now, gotta do what's not scalable to actually get my product out there. Next, I can snap in the batteries, followed by the circuit boards. This is the easy part because the hard part is connecting the two. Next comes the vibration motor, and some of you remember how long I spent trying to fix its rattling. But after months of optimization, motors are actually a breeze now. And after plugging them in, I can take out the heating element and do the same. This is where my genius zip tie comes into play. It holds down the vibration motor and the wires. Then I'll bring out the aluminum tips and insert the heating element and temperature sensor. After which I can tighten down the zip tie, snip it, and go right ahead with programming every single board. Then I can finally snap on the cap and button cover. But this right here is actually the biggest problem in my design. The tolerances are way too tight for 3D printers, so unit to unit, I have to pick out the right combination of stuff to make sure that there isn't rattling or extra space with the buttons and cap. And after tightening everything down with just 2 screws, I set them all up for quality control tests, and boom, you have myTMJ pen, the portable heated massager for jaw muscles. By the way, I did end up solving that issue with the button covers. See how straight that is? And all I did was add this little snap-off support piece in my casing so that the walls don't separate out and they can actually hold the top cap in. So yeah. Although there was another problem. As I showed you guys last episode, a big step up for this batch of product is that I'd be shipping in real nice looking packaging, because I want to sell it to people that basically have no knowledge of my organic social media efforts. You know, let the product speak for itself. But I realized I fucked up once again. I had pretty much just ordered the custom boxes, and they were going to be ready to ship by December 2nd. And we had selected C shipment, which would at least take 30 days, but could be delayed for like 60 or more. So I had to come up with a plan, because that was way too long to just sit on my ass. So I decided that I would contact them and airship 119 out of the 500 boxes, which would only arrive in 12 days. Which is better. In fact, it would also let me ship in time for Christmas, but it would cost $400 more. So the plan was to, instead of using the boxes that I airship early, to ship past pre-orders, because those people were technically expecting them to ship later, like by February. So yeah, instead I would bring myTMJ pen back up to full price, take it off back order, and just ship orders as they came in until the rest of the boxes came. And we ran out of those boxes quick. But I got lucky and the C shipment didn't get delayed, making it in time to ship orders from the new year as well. So they came in around like January 2nd. I honestly have no idea how to express how awesome it felt to be packing my very own product into the boxes, and then packing those into mailers, printing 100 shipping labels, and dropping them off in the mailroom. This has literally been my dream for a decade. It actually makes me a little sad that I didn't start doing all this when I was younger. But you might be wondering, how did I get $40,000 in sales this month? Sure, I have the Instagram, which we're up to like 33K followers now, but you saw that was, this section. So what caused the uptick? Well, that, my friends, is the infinite money glitch that they call meta ads. Although don't worry, as always, there are problems. I'm not gonna get too into the weeds. All I did was watch a Davey Forgerty video, or however you pronounce his name, on how to set all this stuff up. And if you're just starting, I didn't know this, but you can literally go into something called Facebook ad library and look up every single ad that's running right now. All you gotta do is copy your competitors. But here's where my advantage came in. I've uploaded like 400 reels on Instagram, so I literally just dumped a ton of them into the ad set and let Meta do all the work. I was blown away by what performed well as an ad. This started to work insanely well, getting return on ad spends of almost 4.0 on their end, but on my end, like 10. That means that for every dollar I spend, Meta gives me $10 in return. Imagine if we weren't production constrained right now. I could scale this up and just print money. And we definitely are production capped right now. We only got like 200 devices worth of stuff left. And I only just ordered that circuit board prototype along with all the other components. Meaning at this rate, we'll probably have a month or two-ish of going back to back order. Also kind of related, but I came into an issue with my 3D printer that led me to order a second one. This reel kind of explains it. By the way, it got 6 million views and for some reason, a lot of hate. Check it out. I invented these in college, but 496 days later, my entire business is crashing down because of one stupid fan. Just 6 days ago, I got production running again after 2 weeks of my only 3D printer being broken, which I vowed would never happen again because not only did I replace the broken fan, but also bought a spare. Except this morning, I wake up to the worst notification of all time, that once again, the only part that completely puts the printer out of commission has broken once again. But this time it's worse, so much worse, because it means these aren't just flukes. Something is deeply wrong with my printer and production is coming to a screeching halt with no solution in sight. There's one hope for at least damage control, and it's that replacement fan that I ordered. So I check, apparently it's been delivered. So I go down to the package room, it's not there. What the fuck? I check all my boxes, all my apartment, it's not there. What the fuck? Why is this happening to me? We have a trade show coming up by the end of the month. We have a backlog of 80 orders I need to ship. Why? Then I remember, thank God, maybe it's in the mailbox, not the package room. And hallelujah, I found it. So I quickly put it back together and put on a print. But honestly, guys, when this fan breaks, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Follow for part 2, I guess. Obviously, I ordered more fans and an extra printer. But the problem is that I need maximum production now, especially because of that trade show next week. But of course, there's actually a much, much bigger problem here. They call this a disaster in the health and wellness space. And there's a good chance it ruins my plans for growing this business. So apparently, at the start of 2025, Meta will, with one fell swoop, destroy the entire industry's ability to advertise on their platform. And unfortunately, I decided to be a part of that industry when I quit my engineering job to design and sell myTMJ pen. So what the hell am I gonna do? Basically, what's happening is Meta will stop letting health and wellness brands target people with specific health problems, TMJ included. And to be quite honest, I have no real plan. Like, I started running ads 2 weeks ago, and so far the results are a literal infinite money glitch. I really wish it stayed that way. My hope is that when the update drops, someone will discover some workaround or another way to advertise. Maybe I'll just have to double down on organic and influencers, or maybe cold calling will work. But most important thing is that we'll figure it out. So follow to stay updated on my progress. I post every day. That's right, my account will get flagged, and my ads won't target people with TMJ anymore. I seriously have no idea what the plan to sell is going to be, but I will say it is January, and we're fine for now, so we'll see. You should subscribe and follow my Instagram if you don't want to wait another month for an update. I post shorts and reels twice a day at this point, so Happy New Year. I'm really excited for what 2025 is going to bring.